This series is a simple introduction to the Golden Dawn Temple deck, which was created by Harry Wendrich, and I helped providing some of the details and the symbolism connected to the Golden Dawn. Now, this particular card is the Fool, and it's the first one in the Golden Dawn deck. And in the original Stella Matutina deck, you had a baby either inside a wolf or with a wolf nearby. And the wolf represented the animal's self. So if the baby was in the wolf, then it was the higher self inside the animal nature of a human. If it was outside the wolf, sometimes being held by a chain or something like that, it was indicating that the adept had mastered his animal self. In our deck, we've taken it a step further and made it a wolf's skin. This has shamanic overtones, but the idea is that the adept has gone through all his experiences and has totally mastered his animal nature, which now acts as a form of clothing for him. Now, notice behind him there is a whole load of books that have been dropped, and this represents his Golden Dawn course material. What this means is that the candidate or the fool has absorbed everything the Golden Dawn has to teach him and no longer needs to learn it anymore and is looking for new experiences. Now, we would normally say it's foolish to abandon everything you've learned, but what has happened is the fool has integrated it and he needs to move on to further experiences. As you can see, he's leaning across a chasm, which is and looking towards fruit, which is shown as geometric shapes. This represents new undisclosed forms of teaching and knowledge. It's hanging from the Ace of Wands, which puts the fool in the position of being an absolute. So what we're looking at here is the beginner's spirit. The beginner's spirit to start something new, having gone through various experiences before. So when this particular card appears in a reading, for example, we always look at it as somebody who is starting something new, a new experience, a new idea, totally innocently and totally looking for something that he doesn't know already. Now, as far as the world is concerned, that's insane. If you have an established pattern, your lower self and everything else tells you you should be acting the same way you always have. You should always be doing the predictable thing. But the Fool says, no, you have to sometimes reject what you already know and go on to something bigger and better. And in this particular situation, which we've borrowed from the Weight deck, the Fool is placing himself in risk to get that particular form of information. So when there's always a possibility he will fall off that cliff, but then again there's always the possibility that you'll fall off any cliff if you make a risk, and that is what the Fool is all about. It's about risk. When you encounter this particular card in a reading, it's often said that in terms of material things, it's a dire card to get because it indicates you're about to make a mistake or you're about to do something stupid. But in spiritual sense, it's what in Zen is called the beginner's mind. The idea where you start from the absolute basics and understand them truly. So when we look at this particular card, we can't be too negative about it, and in fact it links all the other cards in the deck. If you look, it has the number 0, which of course is no number at all, but that means it can be placed connecting all the cards together. So even cards which are traditionally associated with being intelligent, clever and wise are linked by this full mind, this innocence and this desire to learn new things.